Brothers, A Tale of Two Sons is a short emotional adventure game with the unique twist for the time of its original release, where you control two characters at the same time with a single controller. Now this new Switch release adds the option for true co-op play with a friend for the first time. The ability the Switch has for same device co-op means this is the perfect sort of title to take advantage of it, but also isn't. I'll explain why in my review of Brothers, A Tale of Two Sons on the Nintendo Switch. Now I first played Brothers back in 2013 on the Xbox 360 and have to admit, along with many games in my gaming journey, that I played it for around about 10 minutes and then dismissed it, almost instantly frustrated by the single player co-op gimmick, and had no time to waste on such things when instant gratification from FIFA or Call of Duty were available. I'd forgotten all about the game until the publisher popped up and offered it for review, so here we are. Now Brothers starts dark and descends downwards from there as the opening scene features your mother suffering her demise, drowning out at sea whilst the younger brother helplessly watches on. Not only is this an immediate shock, but also nicely sets up some gameplay mechanics for the younger brother later on in the game. The main story begins with you controlling both the brothers, the left stick moving the older brother with ZL as his action button, and the right stick and ZR for the younger one, as you negotiate a wagon down a hill carrying your sick father to the village doctor. Now this serves as a little taster of what's to come in terms of the same controller teamwork, where you have no choice but to move both brothers at the same time, holding down both action buttons to grasp onto the cart, and you almost instantly get familiar with the mechanics. Once at the doctor's, it's explained through Sims-like gibberish chat that the only chance your remaining parent has at survival is to journey into the mysterious lands to retrieve a cure. Armed with only a map, you set off on your journey. You can show this map to people you come across on your travels who will point you in the general direction you need to go next, but the path is fairly linear anyway, so it's not exactly a mechanic that's needed. The journey to the cure will take around 3 to 4 hours of platforming and puzzles, most of which are centred around how the brothers can work together. From the elder being able to boost the younger one up to unreachable ledges, to the younger one having the ability to slip between narrow gaps like fences and gates to unlock them, allowing the older brother to pass through. There will be times where you have to negotiate some simultaneous puzzles, such as both turning a crank handle together, or in some of the trickiest sections of the game, climbing a wall whilst tethered at the waist by a rope. Generally, the puzzles are never eventually difficult to work out, and whilst some begin to repeat mechanically, I enjoyed the slightly easier pace of the game, allowing you to really focus in more on the story and journey, rather than getting stuck and frustrated. That said, the closing act of the game was a complete head-scratcher, but more on that in a bit. Now graphically, very little has been done here from the original release. Don't be expecting a remaster with updated graphics, and what is here is pretty basic in terms of textures and lighting, but sometimes the camera will pull back and reveal a really nice vista that's just crying out for some modern water effects or some dynamic lighting. Many times it just felt like this game could have been a remaster, but with that said, it's by no means terrible, and despite a few random moments of slowdown, it generally runs fine. The music in the game was nice and whimsical at times, conveying emotion where needed and upping the tempo when the action heats up. Personally though, I hate it when games use the gibberish chatting instead of full voice acting. Though with that said, it does allow for the movement of the characters, combined with the music to get those emotional moments across, where perhaps a budget voice actor would have ruined the moment, so I'm going to let it pass. Now the big addition for this port, as mentioned, is the co-op play. Previous versions never permitted you to play with two players using a second controller, as the real gameplay gimmick was having to control both the brothers at the same time on the one controller. Now this option obviously still remains on the Switch, and I personally played a lot of the game using my Pro controller, but I really wanted to test the co-op out too, so roped in my girlfriend to play through the second half of the game with me. Now there is a big warning when you start the game that whilst co-op has been added, Brothers was always intended as a single player game, and by playing co-op you will receive a slightly altered experience. Now that doesn't mean the developers have done anything at all to the gameplay in terms of balancing or modifying the game to accommodate two players, it just means that it will be infinitely easier to control one character due to how simple each character's part is individually. But my girlfriend isn't particularly a hardcore gamer. She loves puzzle games, so this was absolutely perfect for her, as the controls were really simple and she enjoyed that we had to work together to progress through the game. And the only stumbling block is the end chapter of the game. Now I won't spoil things in terms of story, and if you have played this game before then you will know what I'm talking about, but this just fundamentally broke the co-op play and pretty much left us at a standstill. I had to look up the solution and was not alone in getting stuck. I believe if I was playing this chapter with a single controller, I may have figured out the puzzle within a few minutes, but I'll leave that one with you guys to discover. So, in summary, Brothers is a really enjoyable way to spend a few hours. We blasted through the game in a rare child-free morning, and I've also spent another few hours going back through it. With that said, it's not a game that lends itself to repeated plays, so bear that in mind. There are some achievements which you may want to get to 100% complete the game, but once you've seen all the puzzle solutions and of course the story arc, there's very little reason to play this one again. At £10 and $15, I'll let you decide if a 3 to 4 hour adventure is worth your money personally. The co-op mode is a really nice addition, and this would be the perfect way to play through with a non-gaming partner or even a younger child, although please be aware that this story is really quite dark emotionally, so ensure that they would be able to handle that. Overall, I really enjoyed my time with Brothers on the Nintendo Switch, and I'm going to give it a really solid 7 out of 10. Thanks for watching the review, hope you enjoyed that. Please subscribe if this is your first time here, and drop me a comment below if you've played this one before and what you thought of it, or if you're thinking of picking it up and have any questions, just let me know and I'll do my best to answer them. But until then, thanks again for watching, stay switched on, and I'll see you on the next video. Bye!